Morning, folks. Everybody awake? Everybody's excited as I am for this one? I was thinking about how to intro this, and I was thinking back on the 3 days we've had together so far, and one of the great stats from that first presentation that I'm kind of latching on to is $65 billion to $125 billion industry that we're in. All of that, to be honest, is powered by these guys. Without these guys, none of us in this room are really going to have anything to do. We're not going to have any data to analyze. We're not going to have any quality issues to talk about or anything else. So I want to start by giving a very, very warm welcome to our esteemed panel survey participants. Guys, bottom of my heart, without you guys, we just can't operate. So I figured we'd start, do a little quick intro for everybody. We got Scott, Chantel, Susan, and Lisa. Sorry, a little nervous up here.
Actually, Mark.
Mark. My apologies, my apologies.
I know Scott sounds like Mark.
So these guys have traveled out. They've got tons and tons of experience taking all of our surveys. So I thought it would be a little bit fun, too. Audience participation encouraged. We're going to start with a little survey. Surprise, surprise. We'll do this with a show of hands. Raise your hand, keep it raised if it continues to apply. So raise your hand if you've been taking online surveys for more than a month. Keep them raised if you've been taking online surveys for more than a year. More than 5 years? More than 10 years? More than 15? More than 20? And there you go. How many?
The internet was still young.
Fabulous. So next question. Raise your hand if you typically try at least one survey, one online survey a month. And I say the word try because we all know you can't necessarily complete. All right. One or more surveys a week. One or more surveys a day. 5 or more surveys a day. There you go. So we definitely have some experienced survey participants here. Last question. And this one I know is going to be a little controversial, but we're going to ask it. Raise your hand if you're in 2 or more survey panels or communities. 3 or more? 4 or more? 5 or more? And there you go. So that's a little bit of the background. These guys, I spoke to them over lunch. They're very, very adept. They know the surveys. They know our work. They know our ins and outs. So I'm very, very excited to hear their thoughts and feelings. So with that, let's get right into it. Maybe we'll just go from right to left here. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself, when, where, why, and how you're participating in these surveys.
Are you starting with me?
Yep.
Am I being heard?
Yep, we can hear you well. Thank you.
Okay, great. I started because I like having something to say, and my friends always say, oh, well, she's always, got something to say. And my work life was always on the phone, and I would always kind of veer off and say, some added things and not just stick with, the script. But people always like that about me. So when I first started finding out, I don't even remember how I found out about surveys. I just jumped in and just started meeting people of like minds, and we start sharing with each other. So, yeah.
Are you taking them on a mobile device, tablet?
Everything, mobile, tablet, because I love devices. And I bought devices through doing surveys and focus groups, because I don't want to, I never really worked full-time, and I like making my own money and not asking anybody for anything. So I save up, I do what it takes, I go to groups, focus groups, panels, everything. So yeah, surveys have paid for phones and tablets.
Any particular time of day or any day of the week that you find yourself?
Every day, but usually at night, because I like to be focused on taking care of my family. So I don't want to take away from that, because when I was younger, I got accused of always being on the phone. So I didn't want to take away from what they needed. So normally in the evening.
Fabulous. Susan, how about you?
Okay. Perhaps you can guide me with some questions?
Oh, sure. So a little bit about yourself first.
Okay. I am working full-time, so I do not do surveys every day. But I have been doing them for a few decades, dating back to pre-internet, when I would get the occasional phone call or something in the mail. And I think that they got my information because I would send in the box tops or the UPC symbols to get a little dollar rebate here and there. So it slowly built to invitations, and I do have learned of some online, as internet progressed, and today I'm about 4 or 5 that I do regularly.
What type of device were you typically taking surveys?
I take on my work computer, on my lunch or afterwards, just to calm down. But for true. But when I'm trying to unwind at the end of the day, which is when I do the ones that I really do, I tend to do it on my phone, just because it's easier.
Awesome. Chantel.
I think there we are. Yes. So basically, I do surveys whenever it's convenient for me. I don't really have a set time of when I do them. I kind of do them in a need of getting gift cards. I am not going to lie. I am up here for the gift cards and the gift cards only. I was shocked when people said, "Oh, there's more." I was like, "What? There's more?" I'm looking for gift cards, and I'm looking for the good gift cards. So I started doing this, and the one I was on only had Macy's and Starbucks, but I loved those two. So I would just do enough surveys to get whatever gift card I was getting, and then once I got it and I couldn't qualify for another 90 days, I would just wait. 90 days, I would get back on. Now it's a little different. There's more, so I do them more often. And with COVID, I'm not gonna lie, COVID, I was watching TV and they said, "Oh, the best way to pass your time is to do surveys." I was like, "Oh my God, I got this survey thing I'm in," and I had forgotten about it. Hadn't done it in probably over a year. And once I got back on, then they added Target, CVS, Home Depot. I was like, "Oh my God, this is great. I ain't do this all day." So I do them at work. I do it on my mobile phone too. So, and even when I'm just kind of waiting, hanging out with the friends before we play poker, the game starts late, I might go on my mobile, get a survey in, do something like that on the plane, but I do most of them probably on my laptop.
Wonderful. Scott? I was going to start calling you maybe Ted, but Mark, tell us a little about your experience.
I want to clarify, my name is Mark. And, so I've been taking surveys for a long time. I started out, like Lisa was saying, I'd do surveys, I'd get surveys in the mail, I would be part of focus groups. I've even done auto surveys where you actually go and test drive cars and things like that. And I think because I was doing all these surveys, then I got emails about joining platforms, and I joined eRewards and a couple other ones, and I take surveys daily. I pretty much do it in my free time because I have my own business and can't really do it during business hours because I'm too busy, but I usually take them on my desktop or my phone. I've taken them on a tablet from time to time, but it's usually desktop or phone. And I enjoy the gift cards, and I even enjoy sometimes you get products that you can test the manufacturer will send you the product and you test it. I enjoy doing that. I'm very opinionated, so it fits me.
That's why we love you. Awesome, awesome. So let's dive right in, and this is going to be kind of just more of a conversation now. Let's talk about your survey experiences. You know, and again, please don't hold back. We've been spending the whole 3 days here talking about how to make this experience better for you guys. So I think it's very, very important that we hear from you what, quite frankly, we see happening. So what do you find most rewarding and most annoying about the online survey experience? Feel free, whoever wants to kick it off.
We're gonna say the same thing. Yeah, do you want me to?
You
Okay.
both can say it, though.
The most annoying thing is when you've invested time into a survey and you're 15, 20, 30, even 30 minutes in, you think that you're going to get a nice reward, and then you suddenly hear or see you're not qualified. And my time is valuable, and I know that some people have this misperception that it's just, you know, these are just those people out there. But as he was saying, we're the crux of your business. And I know that there are several panels that I have just blocked. I will no longer participate because of being dismissed like that and being lied to, and that is how it feels. So, Chantel, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll add the fact too, what's annoying is when I first got here from Cleveland, Ohio, as a young girl, somebody pulled me aside and they said, just remember, kid, your time is not worthless. And that's for everybody in this room. No one here thinks that their time is worthless. And you should pay people for a fair day's work. And I know that's really taking it to another level, but you got to simplify that. So pay people, not just us, anybody who's doing these surveys, pay them fairly for their time. You know, you can't have them get $1 and you ask 1 million questions. That's nutty. Just show that you appreciate people. And that's what this, the most rewarding thing, I'll go into that too, is the compensation for me, of course. But just pay them fairly for their time. And don't tell them it's going to be 15 minutes. And then it's 30 minutes getting through this, because I'm not a quitter. So I'll be like, when is this going to end? This is crazy. What more do they want? This is the same question. You repeated it. But, you know, in that sense, too, I will cut out on something. The most annoying thing, do not ask me for my birthday. What? You don't need to know my month, my day, and my year. And that ties with so much important stuff now.
Or
I don't care about
birthplace. I've had that one show up, birthplace as well as birth date.
So,
Yeah.
quick interjection. If we as an industry could come together and store a lot of this information that we seem to be asking over and over, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? It's a privacy thing, I understand that. But if that could significantly shorten, is it worth it?
Well, that's not probably where I'm going with it. I just think that that's too much information. If you, my age is fine. I do understand you need to know that because of advertising, what certain group is buying, and even the fact that I'm African American. I am fine with all that. I understand that we shop differently from maybe Caucasians or maybe the Native Americans or the Latinos. So that's all fine, but why do you have to know my exact birthday? I'm a little suspect on that, and I just exit out of those. I don't do none of that nonsense.
How much screening in your mind? So we obviously have to do a little bit of screening before we know you qualify. What are your thoughts?
Female, age, race, where you live, zip code. On all that is fine.
Income
5 or 8
range.
questions?
Income range.
That's fine with me too. I don't mind telling that, but not my birth date.
Yeah, not the birthplace.
Not the birth. So much is attached to that. Nothing is attached to your income and how much you make.
And I've even had some wanting to know the names of, you know, pet-related surveys. What are the names of my cats? You know, and of course, we all know that those are frequently used as passwords. That's another big no.
Interesting, yeah.
I don't mind sharing demographics, But what I find terrible is that with some things I'm being aged out, because with my age, I'm not like a lot of people that I know. I'm doing things that a lot of people that I know my age, they're not doing. I have friends that I'm teaching them since COVID. I have helped people through Zoom to set up their devices. But for some of these things, I'm being treated as if I'm too old. So I understand people have different shopping patterns, but for me, I'm not one of those people. I'm the one, I have all the devices, I do all the things, and people are like, wow, you're doing this. And I'm, just to tell you something personal, I walk 5 miles a day. I couldn't do it today because I gave that up to come here, but I usually don't give up my 5-mile walk for anything. So.
Thank you.
And people are working longer in this day and age in this society, so no one's really retiring at, I don't know her age, my age is nowhere even near that, but people are working longer. Somebody might work, like don't crack, right?
How do you know?
Yeah, people might work till 70. So if they are working and they're still earning their full salary, they're still putting their full salary out there to be spent, so.
Yep.
And I'd just like to interject. I don't think that it's necessarily about whether or not somebody is still working or has a salary. There are things, I'm more of a minimalist, but there are things that I consider valuable to my individual lifestyle that somebody else decided I don't qualify for. And I find that kind of offensive. You know, your target might be the 26 to 32-year-old group, but you don't know my life. And, you know, there are some things that are important to me.
I'm a little I absolutely understand that. I don't care if I don't qualify your survey, just do it early. Come on.
Yeah.
Just do it at the beginning. That is fine. If you're looking, yeah, just do it early. Let us get on to the next one.
Exactly.
So to that point, do you ever feel like you're in this like endless loop of trying to qualify for a survey?
No.
No,
Yes,
I don't.
So we got 2 no's, we got a yes.
Oh, yes.
yes.
Yes, I've had, there are some survey companies that I, in good faith, had registered for, and years later, still had not had one. And, you know, an attempt, and more than 4 questions. And so I've just basically blocked them. And then there are others that we don't qualify for this one, but then it is forwarding to another one and asking me the same 3 or 4 questions, and then they decide I don't qualify. And so it's just this loop. And those people, yeah, I blocked them too. So, you know, it's no
That's a
longer,
theme, guys.
my time is valuable.
Awesome, awesome. So moving on, we've already talked a lot about it, so we'll probably move quickly through the next topic, but compensation. You know, what's in it for you guys? So I've heard a lot of this, but, you know, what do you like to be compensated with? What do you not like? And most importantly, what do you believe is fair? What do you believe is fair for your time?
Choice, number 1, because that's, I'm sorry, your name again?
Greg.
No,
Mark.
yeah. Chantel was saying that one company was basically offering only 2 things that she wanted. And what I really appreciate now is that it's opening up. There's so much more choice involved, so many more opportunities for us to decide what we want to have.
Right. One thing that, well, I think that the companies could compensate more fairly. I don't think that a survey, like, for example, there's like a couple surveys where they just like give you $1. I don't think that's really fair. And then another thing, if you don't qualify, no matter how much you're going to get compensated on that survey, like I know on eRewards, you know, if you don't qualify, they only give you like a quarter. I don't think that's fair. I think that it should be, depending on the compensation for the survey, like a percentage of the, a higher percentage based on the amount of that survey.
I think something that I just thought of with him saying that, basically, if you go more than 10 seconds into that survey, it's not a quarter anymore, it's 50 cents. I mean, your time is not worthless. And it definitely should be, you know, more than or equal to minimum wage when it breaks down. But, yeah.
Do you guys participate in any other kind of crowd surfing, earning rewards type activities? And if so, how do their incentives compare to this survey industry?
I do some. I'm not sure if this is the question you're asking, but I have apps on my phone. I have one that is so easy. I don't make a lot with it, but it's easy to do. It's called Coin Out. And I basically take a picture with their app of a receipt, and they have certain things that you have to do for that to qualify for that, but it's, you know, really easy. So I just like to do a lot of easy things, and then I probably shouldn't do this, but I do have some that are, like I have an extra router at home, and it's checking my traffic. I have nothing to hide. Some people won't do that, but I do a lot of things that are very passive.
And how are you compensated for some of those things?
Through the money just, you know, adds up, and then you can cash out when you want to, and it goes to PayPal or your bank, and it's fast. That's what I like about some of these newer for me, some of these apps and these companies. It's fast. They don't have you waiting for days and days, because I'm on my soapbox, and I'll just cash out for $5, and it takes like a week or two. That's ridiculous. If I'm doing all this work, why are you taking forever? I can understand if you want to gather the opinions of all the people who are involved in that particular survey, but some of this, the rewards, is taking too long for me to get my compensation. And I haven't seen the amount of compensation increase. The amounts are so low that there's some things I won't do, because you're literally working for pennies. You spent 20, 30 minutes and you got enough points where it's 30 cents. That's just a waste of time.
So you guys want to share maybe one of your, or more of your best or worst rewards experiences? I know we talked about a few of them over breakfast.
Do we talk about Harris now? I'm going to remind you about that gift card you
set
promised.
you up on that one.
I had thousands of points banked at Harris, and then they had login problems. So I guess I have a. But some of the things that I enjoy, I am less about the gift cards, although I do enjoy the Starbucks and the Amazon. Those are great. But I genuinely love giving my opinion about new products. In a previous life before I was a minimalist, I actually worked in adjacent to advertising, which was in typography and graphic design. So I set the ads that were for all the companies that you guys were selling, and the packaging and a few other things. So I know the world a little bit. But I genuinely love trying new products. And so I think my favorite thing is when I get to try a new product and something that is within my, you know, eco-friendly, but not purist in any way. You know, lifestyle is something that I would like to try. And as a result of sampling, I have adopted several products. You know, so it's not just the whether or not I've taken the survey per se or I'm getting the gift card, but do I get to try something new? I am more inclined, if you let me sample something, I'm inclined to come back. But I mean, I remember there was a company, Aveeno, which I think is now Procter & Gamble, I think. But I remember asking them if they had a sample of a particular lotion, because I wanted to see if it worked for me. And I wasn't asking for the world, I wasn't asking for a coupon, I was asking for them to send me a little sample through the mail. And they refused. Well, guess who never got my business again? Because if you don't value me enough to give me a sample, you're not valuing me enough to get my business. It's just that simple. So.
Yeah. Final question on compensation. Cash, you know, immediate survey done, you get your cash, versus a point system, versus maybe something new like crypto versus charity? We have
Of course, cash will always
Cash
be
is
the
king.
best. And I'm up here for the gift cards. I'm a shopaholic. I came across it quite honestly from Robbie Lester, my mama. And so I love the shop, so the gift cards are just fine with me. I don't think the points we turn into gift cards are quite fair in your time. It's really, it's not close enough. It needs to be a little better. And that's on eRewards. That's the only one I'm on.
I like cash, but I also like gift cards. And like Susan was saying, I like samples. I love when I can sample a product, you know, when a company allows you to sample their products. And I like to give my opinions about that. I wish more companies were doing that, you know, rather than just having us, you know, take a survey. Oh, and on that question about, or when they were bringing up the birth dates, I don't mind about putting my birth date in. It's not a big deal to me. But that might just be because I'm the only guy up here, and, you know. And what was the rest of the question?
Just if you guys have given any thought to the whole crypto world or cryptocurrency,
No,
that new fancy stuff.
no.
I mean, crypto, it's controversial. I don't have any. I mean, but I don't think I would want to be compensated in that way. No, I don't think so. I mean, because anyway, the points that we, or you know, how we're compensated, you wouldn't get very much anyway. I mean, so it wouldn't, I mean, it'd be a very small benefit. It'd take you a lot of time to accrue anything worth any amount in crypto. So unless they're going to increase the compensation, then I don't know if that's a viable option.
Yeah, at this point, I would not be doing surveys for crypto. It just, you know, like, again, I said, my time is not worthless. So you have to make it worthwhile for us doing it. If it's not, none of us is doing it. We all like free stuff and we like the samples, but if it's not worthwhile, we're not doing it.
I mean, if they're going to give a Bitcoin for a survey, I'll take it.
See, and
You heard it here.
this is where I want something more tangible. A gift card is tangible, cash is tangible, a sample is tangible, a non-fungible something, I forget what the T stands for, or cryptocurrency that is basically, you know, something of a little bit, a portion of something of computers talking to each other. That is not the gold standard. I want something that's a lot more tangible. And fundamentally, I mean, the rewards and points systems, I mean, they're basically illusionary just as much as the NFTs and the cryptocurrency is. So we already are paid in cryptocurrency, we just redeem them for cash.
Well, I like being able to have opportunities like this, and I do share things with friends, so I do talk to people, and we have groups online that we're building groups of like-minded people, because I'm in a group on Facebook, and we are growing. And I really appreciate, since COVID, that I can have big opportunities by having video conferences, Zoom and the like. And one of the most fun things I did last year is we sampled alcohol. And some wasn't alcohol, some was non-alcoholic things, but we were tasked with getting like about 12 or 15 things. And we all met through Zoom at home, and we were compensated, reimbursed for buying that stuff. And we just had such a great time, because some of these surveys, I know that you have to ask, you know, these questions that sometimes are just so dry, but sometimes it's just so much not fun. And I like being able to share a video or a picture, because I've done that. Like some panels, they'll ask you a question, and I notice most people won't share a video or a picture. And when I share a picture, people, they just love that. So, you know, I like to, you know, have more opportunities for more, you know, money. something more for me.
Interesting.
There's an idea. Provide more alcohol.
Apparently they did at the party. We weren't invited to it last night. This speakeasy. Oh, y'all having one tonight?
Invite the panel to the to the party the night before.
There you go, Corey.
1990s parlance, word.
Moving on, let's talk about qualifying for surveys, right? That seems to be a hot topic. So if you could chat a little bit, so we've all had surveys we thought we qualified for, we got into them, we start taking them, and it just seems like they crap out. You're terminated, it's ended in the middle, maybe you get all the way to the end. Talk about some of those experiences, and most importantly, kind of in your words, what you perceived as has happened.
I just wonder one thing. We get asked these demographic questions in the beginning, and you answer all this stuff, and then sometimes at the end they ask you again the same thing. Why is that? Why at the beginning, and then a lot of times at the end? Why?
Yep, it's a great question. I could, the answers are a couple different reasons, but yeah, sometimes it's for quality to make sure you answer the same way. Sometimes it's simply because, the person answering the questions or asking the questions at the beginning is in the same company as the survey.
But I
It's
just
certainly
I just
frustrating,
think,
I'm sure.
I just think, okay, I understand that, that's fine. But if I've been on your panel for years, then shouldn't you do something to see the answers I'm giving, the quality I'm giving, to see if it matches up? That just throws me sometimes. It's just like, is this some kind of trick? All the time it feels like a trick.
It's an excellent point. Excellent point.
I would say, in regards to surveys that are termed out, it's probably like 1 in 10, maybe 2 in 10. I think it's like a glitch in the system. Sometimes, you'll get to the end of the survey, you answered every single question, and then when it's about to compensate you, it says you didn't qualify. That's the most frustrating thing. Sometimes it'll just, like, you'll be in the middle of a survey and it'll just say error. It's frustrating when you actually spend your time and then you're not compensated for it. And I've contacted eReward several times about that, but sometimes I never even hear back. So that's frustrating also when you never hear back.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I guess, a part of doing the surveys, but I wish they would fix that problem.
I've had situations, I don't do them anymore because I blocked them, where you've been in for 20, 30 minutes and you are giving substantive answers, and you can kind of figure out, what they're wanting to know anyway. And I'm one of those people that's real honest, because I believe that my opinion does help move the needle. 15 years ago, when I was saying, hey, I want something that's lower sugar, I want something that's lower sugar. Well, now fast forward to today, we've got a lot more lower sugar products. So that information does move the needle, so I'm very sincere and honest about it. But when you're 20, 30 minutes into a survey and you're suddenly disqualified for whatever reason, you've given them the information that they actually came for. Basically they're just trying to get out of giving you your points or your cash or whatever. And I think it's very rude, and it's dismissive of the people that you're relying on for your own job.
Yeah, I agree with all of what they said, basically. I think that once I get through a survey all the way to the end, and I know when it's the end, we all know when you start asking the demographic questions over again, okay, we're at the end, you kind of perk up, oh, I'm about to get paid, and they disqualify you. And I think some did not like your answers, is what I feel. I feel like we didn't say what they wanted us to say. We gave our truthful answers, and they're like, oh, these aren't the people we really care about, so we're not going to give them the compensation. And it's crazy. I've been on one watching a show for 45 minutes. It's like, don't let me watch the whole show for 45 minutes, and then I didn't qualify. What is, because I hated this show. It was awful. You know it.
So you kind of touched on this too, but when that happens, I assume you're reaching out or trying to reach out to customer service. Your experiences there, or do you find yourselves having trouble even finding customer service or identifying what survey or getting the compensation?
Well, a lot of times they want you to know the survey number. It was like, we don't know that survey number. I mean, where do you find the survey number at? We can only tell you at the time. I do it right away, so it'll be a time frame, so they could kind of reference that and go from there. And he's right. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. I actually have a good rapport. I guess I get to the right spot and they do respond, but they don't respond right away. It might be weeks.
I qualified for, they had like a promotion for like the Olympics, and you do a certain amount of surveys and you get like a certain amount of points, or you qualify for like a certain amount of points, and I qualified, and they said they credited me the points, but they never did, and I contacted them twice and I never heard back. Twice within like a couple months, and I never heard back. So, you know, like, it's frustrating when you contact them and they just disregard you and don't respond back.
Which I think is a great segue into our kind of final area, the sense of community and belonging. It's another hot topic from this year's attendance here. We've done a lot of talk about how we can better engage you guys, make you feel part of this larger experience, create a sense of community. Do you see that in your experience? And I'd love to hear about maybe how you're developing that separately outside of our.
I belong to a couple of different online groups that are basically like what coupons are out there, what freebies are out there, and there's a section with respect to surveys. And what I have found at it to be positive in that you learn about some survey companies. And it's a little bit, I think there was a place called Survey Police.